So we have got some big news stories to cover in the world of MMA. Let's get right into this story right here. I'm sure by now everybody has heard about this Alex Pereira news. So let's just go over it quickly. So last night Alex Pereira posted this onto his Twitter saying, "I have always answered the UFC's calls, but if they want to play with me, we can do that. I've never spoken poorly of the UFC, but with what I've just heard, I am disheartened. I've already had thoughts of not fighting anymore. And after what was just relayed to me, this may be the start." So this kind of just took the whole MMA world by storm, with Alex Pereira just randomly posting this on the Twitter. But then Alex Pereira made a video basically saying that he was supposedly hacked and that his Twitter was hacked, and it wasn't him that actually posted that tweet. Now all I'm going to say is, Pereira, if you need our help, blink twice. Is the UFC trying to silence Alex Pereira? You need to let me know in the comments. Does this guy need our help? Pereira, please blink twice if you need us. But yeah, honestly, there was a load of flipping conspiracies popping up after the tweet went out. Obviously, before Pereira had suggested that he was hacked, some of the ones I was seeing were like the UFC weren't giving him the rematch. The UFC were like taking too much money off him, or he wasn't getting the right pay because obviously he's not a champion anymore. There was just a lot of stuff circulating around online. Some of the stuff was really funny, how like in depth people were really going on this scenario to be like, oh well, I heard this and this is what sources are saying, and then for Pereira to just basically be like, I've been hacked. It's not that big of a deal. I just thought it was funny. Obviously, the MMA world was going ballistic about this news yesterday, but it seems like Pereira was hacked. It's nothing serious. He says that him and the UFC are on good terms, so hopefully we can get Alex Pereira fight news soon. I'm hoping we get to see him and Galayev like September time. September, October. I know Pereira is known for his activity, but there were those rumours that Pereira was sick and he had a broken hand, was it, going into the Ankalaev fight? So I'd rather him just take the time off, because he is getting up there in age now. He doesn't have that long left in the sport, if we're being honest. The guy is nearly 40. So I'd much rather Pereira take as much time off as he needs to heal up properly, to then go in there and absolutely decimate Magomed Ankalaev in their rematch. But moving on into some other fight news, we have got this. Apparently Robert Whitaker versus Renan de Ridder is in the works. There has been no date or location announced, but Robert Whitaker has said that he wants to make a return in July, and Renan de Ridder went in there, smoked Bo Nickel last weekend there, really just beat up Bo Nickel with ease. Let's just be honest, Bo Nickel offered him nothing in there whatsoever. Renan de Ridder, I think he is underrated, although I think a lot of people now are giving him the respect that he deserves. I did pick him to beat Bo Nickel based off experience, and just the whole grappling thing, like actual just out and out American wrestling is so different from MMA wrestling. It's just different. They're two completely different sports. What works in one doesn't work in the other. It's just one of those things. But the fact that Renan de Ridder has been in different high-level MMA organisations, like One Championship, and being a two-division champion, that paired in with his jiu-jitsu skills and just his awkward style, but mainly his experience, is why I picked him to beat Bo Nickel. But obviously his experience won't be a factor in this matchup when he goes in there against Robert Whitaker. This will probably be a fight night main event, in my opinion, or a co-main event of a card. Robert Whitaker is a massive name, obviously, for the UFC. The guy's a former UFC middleweight champion, one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Renan de Ridder will lose this matchup, though, in my opinion. I think Robert Whitaker will beat him. I think Robert Whitaker on the feet will be too much for Renan de Ridder. Now, Renan de Ridder looked like a heavyweight when he was in there against Bo Nickel, so I think he will have the size advantage over Robert Whitaker when he's in there with him, although Robert Whitaker's striking is just too slick for Renan de Ridder. Now, Robert Whitaker isn't the biggest puncher, yes, but Renan de Ridder is slow. He is hittable. I just think Robert Whitaker's striking style, Robert Whitaker's jab, and whenever he switches it up with that high kick as well, I think his striking style is going to cause Renan de Ridder a lot of problems in there. And also, I know some people say Robert Whitaker's a bit chinny now, and obviously Robert Whitaker will be coming back after literally having his face destroyed by Khamzat Chimaev in their UFC 308 matchup. So will this make Robert Whitaker even more susceptible to being KO'd and taking damage? Who knows? But Renan de Ridder isn't that big of a puncher. But Randy Ritter is on a 3-fight win streak now, beating GM3, Kevin Holland, and Bo Nickel, getting finishes in all 3 of those matchups. He did call out Sean Strickland. He's obviously not getting the Strickland matchup if they're talking about him and Whitaker. I think they're going to do Strickland versus Adesanya 2 anyway. But this is a good matchup, one I'm looking forward to if it does happen. Randy Ritter has got a goofy style like DDP. We all thought Robert Whitaker was going to run through DDP, and look what happened. So maybe that might happen again, although I just think Robert Whitaker is going to beat Randy Ritter pretty easy, to be honest. I think he's comfortably just going to outstrike him. Obviously, Randy Ritter can have success in the grappling, but Robert Whitaker's grappling is underrated, especially his takedown defense, in my opinion. I know a lot of people will have a different view on that now after the Khamzat Chimaev matchup, but let's just be honest, Randy Ritter isn't grappling like Khamzat Chimaev. So look at what Robert Whitaker's takedown defense. Whoa, where's my camera going? Look at Robert Whitaker's takedown defense when he was in there with the likes of Yoel Romero and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people might take Robert Whitaker's grappling for granted when he gets in this matchup with Randy Ritter, but I just think he's going to outstrike him. Moving on to this right here, though, from DDP, Dricus du Plessis says the UFC have offered him 2 possible dates for the Khamzat Chimaev fight, and that it will happen within the next 4 months. This is the news that we need to be hearing. Why is Dana White not the one coming out talking about this? Oh yeah, that's why. Because Dana White doesn't care about the UFC anymore. He's bought and paid for by Saudi, and he's looking to jump ship to boxing. That's why. But yeah, this is good news. Dricus du Plessis said he's agreed to both dates. Obviously, we were all under the illusion that this was going to headline International Fight Week. Now, again, nothing was confirmed to us that it was going to headline International Fight Week. It was just when we looked up at the options with Tom Aspinall, John Jones not headlining it. You had Islam Makhachev, Ilia Topuria at the time. Again, nothing's confirmed now, but at the time, we were basically told that fight was not happening either. It's still not confirmed for International Fight Week, but Ilia Topuria is on the card anyway. And then this was the third option that everyone kind of ran with. Then you had Khamzat Chimaev call out Dricus du Plessis for DDP being injured. They said he had like a broken foot or a broken shin, it was, I believe, and that DDP wouldn't be back to 2026. And then DDP said that was a complete lie. So there's a lot of misinformation going around for this matchup. There was even the Caio Borralho interim title fight being thrown around. But I'm glad that it's cleared up now and we are going to get this matchup. I think it is going to be in the Middle East. I would like to see Khamzat Chimaev fight DDP in South Africa, would be the number 1 spot, obviously, but I don't think that's going to happen. The next spot would be America, really, is the one I would think of, but I don't know if Khamzat Chimaev can even get in the States anymore, so that might not happen. So I actually think we're going to see this headline, either a Saudi Arabia card, an Abu Dhabi card. I know they're going to Qatar, supposedly. It might end up headlining that card. Who knows, but this will probably headline a Middle East card, in my opinion. And that's kind of good for us UK fans, because then that will be on at a normal time, unless they want to ruin it like they done with UFC 304 in Manchester. Although, like I said, the Middle East, they kind of get their own way all the time, which I'm happy about for UFC events in terms of timings. But yeah, great to see we're getting a fight that we actually all want to see basically being confirmed. Not a date announced yet, but DDP has confirmed it, so looking forward to this one. The closer we get to this matchup, the more I'm starting to be like DDP is going to beat him. But as of right now, my early prediction is Khamzat Chimaev. Moving on, a great matchup announced for the Dustin Poirier card. We have got Marvin Vtori taking on Brendan Allen. This is the perfect fight to be on this card. If you haven't checked out my How UFC Should Book UFC 318 on my channel, go back and watch it. This is one of the matchups that I had on the card. Brendan Allen is from the area. Marvin Vtori, Brendan Allen have got some beef. Get these guys on stage. They're going to sell the fight. They fought each other in a casino for free. It's going to be fireworks to build up. The fight might be a bit boring, don't get me wrong. Both guys aren't big finishers in terms of punch power, although Brendan Allen does have good submissions. But Marvin Vtori has got pretty good submission defense on the feet. I like Brendan Allen's boxing, to be honest, and Marvin Vtori looked pretty ass in his last fight. I know Brendan Allen also lost his last fight to Anthony Hernandez, but there was more grappling involved in that matchup, and I don't think Marvin Vtori is going to look to grapple with Brendan Allen, because if he does, I think Marvin Vtori is just going to outright lose the matchup there. But again, looking forward to the build up to this one, looking forward to seeing this matchup. I am picking Brendan Allen though to beat Marvin Vtori. And finally, we have got fight news for Cody Garbrand. He is back against Barcelos at UFC Atlanta. This is a good matchup to have on this card. Hopefully not the co-main event though. The main event to this card is obviously Usman versus Joaquin Buckley. I'm looking forward to this. Barcelos obviously coming off the fraud checking of Payton Talbot, so nice to see him get another step up in competition against Cody Garbrand. Cody Garbrand's obviously growing out his hair now. He's kind of going through like his emo phase. He's got that like sword tattoo down his eye. Probably the worst tattoo I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. I can't lie. But looking forward to seeing Cody Garbrand come back, and I think he will beat Barcelos at UFC Atlanta. So yeah, that's all the news to go over today. Let me know your opinions in the comments below, and as always, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Thank you all for the support, and I'll see you all again in the next one.